Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good yawning this morning, and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. It is Wednesday, the 24th of January, 2024, and you are on the clock with Erin, Greene. Now, if it's a Wednesday, that means we are mashing up the two shows on the clock with Erin, Greene and Guardian Radio AM with C.A. Nuri. Mr. Nuri is joining me this morning, and he's going to give you a rundown of the topics that we're going to talk about in a minute, not right now, because we have a lot to talk about today. But Mr. Nuri, could you have imagined that the most controversial thing we're going to talk about today is people didn't know that you could make cookies and pastries with juju?
Yes, I see that, and I see that people were accusing you of blasphemy for even suggesting such.
Right.
I've never tasted a juju bread or a juju cake.
Now,
but I guess that's doable.
it is doable.
But how do you get the meat off the juju?
Well, first of all, I don't want to teach anybody any obeah, but I will tell you all a secret. Have you ever made jam with a single seed fruit?
Yes.
Like a scarlet plum, a sea grape,
Yes.
a juju.
Yes.
So you boil it, you put it in a pot and you boil it.
Yes.
I mean, now I know a Rasta who make ganep daiquiris, and apparently he peels every ganep.
Does he bite it like how I open my ganap?
Well, I'm hoping that if the daiquiri is for sale, that he does not bite it and he uses a knife
Okay.
to open the juju.
That's a lot of work.
It is a tremendous amount of work.
Biting half the time, and I bite and just
Pop, bite, pop, bite,
Yeah.
pop. But no, I mean, I want to say to Rasta, thank you. Call me over when you're making it again. But you would process the juju the same way that you would process any like single seed fruit. You're gonna making jam. You're gonna boil it, cover it with water, and boil it until you've reached the desired viscosity of the liquid.
That's
So
a
you
big
you don't want to cook it long enough for it to become jam. You want to cook it to extract the juice from the fruit.
I was trying to do that the other day with tamarind. It didn't work out.
What you mean it didn't?
It became bland. I was trying to get the seeds out. I had to use the paste. I was trying to get a tamarind paste.
And it was bland?
Yeah.
How old were the tamarind?
No, I got it. You know those Malaysian tamarind?
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, hey, good morning, all of my Malaysian cousins. Happy to be cousins with you. But the Malaysian tamarind is a different tamarind to the Bahamian tamarind. Now, Fox Hill maybe has some of the best tamarind in the country because people in Fox Hill took Malaysian and South Asian tamarind seeds and planted in Bahamian soil.
Oh.
So what you have is the fullness of the flesh, thick flesh, sweet, but what the Bahamian soil and environment adds to it is the tang. So you're going to get like if you could imagine something that is extremely sweet and extremely tangy at the same time. Perhaps the best tamarind I've ever tasted.
Good.
Right, from Fox Hill.
I went to the food store just buy the paste one time.
Okay, no, here's what you're going to do. When tamarind season comes, you're going to buy as much or harvest as much tamarind as you can. You're going to shell them, and you're going to Ziploc bag all the good ones. And you're going to flat pack that, squeeze all the air out the Ziploc bag, and you're going to freeze that. So you could have tamarind throughout the year to make your pepper sauce, to make your tamarind sauce, to make your tamarind balls, to make your tamarind glaze, whether it's savory for pork and for steak and for things like that, or you're going to make a sweet tamarind glaze for cheesecakes and for pastries to put on your Chickchani Juju claws. We call them, in the States, they make bear claws. We make Chickchani claws with Juju jam in it, right? You could put tamarind jam in it. But the best thing to do is to pick and preserve your tamarind. Now, a lot of people say, man, that freezer the cost of freezing them is tremendous. So that's something you add the value back. You add value to the product and you add that cost to the product. But because of the humidity, it's difficult to find dry, cool places to keep tamarind. Because if you could find an extremely dry, controlled environment, then you can keep tamarind in the shell for quite a while. Quite a while. Somebody saying, Miss Greene, you are extremely knowledgeable of plants. The Colombians or Mexicans will more than likely hire you. But look here.
I know they plan to have you grow.
We need to start growing. We need to see the value of growing. Not just being farmers. First of all, farmer is not a dirty word, but not just the value of being farmers, but the value of growing things. But Mr. Nuri, we got lots to talk about this morning. Just before we go, for those people who can't understand a juju bread, have you ever had zucchini bread? Have you ever had potato bread? Have you ever had pumpkin bread? You ever had cassava bread?
Cassava, potato.
Right, you never had a pumpkin bread?
Yeah, a pumpkin roll. That's the same thing?
No, that's not the same thing. Pumpkin roll is a cake. It's a dessert.
Okay.
Let's go to the caller. Good morning, caller.
Pleasant good morning, people in that studio.
Sparky, you ever had zucchini bread?
Zucchini?
Zucchini.
No, I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna blaspheme. Now, before my 30 seconds run out, I want to say this quick. Here they tell me somebody, they gotta be blaspheming or telling fibs to me. Because I doesn't get about 3 prime ministers been around here getting juju from Sparky.
That's because they're using the short spotter to know when they drop Sparky.
You could guess their name. But yesterday, I think we need to get the commissioner of police involved in there, because on the corner of Blue Hill Road and that corner of Wesley Churches, when boys selling but some bags of juju, they look small like marble, and I ain't talking about the steely marble, the little small marble, the tar.
Yeah.
And they brown, even in none of their little yellowish, they look like they don't fade away brown. I said, how much for the juju? The fellow said, $3 a bag. I said, what let me taste what. It's sour. That's, we was looking for big sour yesterday.
Yeah.
He got a bag full of big sour.
So, for $3, you could season your fish with a bag of juju, Sparky?
But look at, they so sour. And he's singing song and thing while he's singing. I said, man, look at, one of my juju on my tree is bigger than your bag.
Well, listen,
But I hear another rumor going around that Mr. Prime Minister going to take that big bag of juju I picked for him and the first lady, second lady. What's the spouse of the Prime Minister?
Yes.
I hear he take my juju to Uganda to feed the monkey.
I have a story. Listen, Sparky, how you know that's on my list for this morning?
The man take my juju and now they say the monkey don't walk up to the Bahamas.
Listen, Sparky, blame me. Blame me. For the last decade and a half, I have been advocating and lobbying for our government to engage in more constructive diplomatic relations with our brothers and sisters across the globe. Y'all around here trading for money and scholarship and this and that. We need to have a produce exchange, global produce exchange. Ooh, Sparky, I want to say thank you this morning. And no, Texter, we're not burning all of the juju trees that taste bad. First of all, Mr. Nuri, we get into the subject matter in a second. First of all, Tex, I want to say thank you for raising that point. Bitterer is better, Bahamas. Sugar, like all things, can be a poison. It can be toxic if not taken in moderation. We have become addicted to sugar. So much so that we can no longer realize or recognize the natural sugar content in fruit, nor do we understand the natural sugar content in fruit is the sugar levels that you should be consuming. So this desire, this addiction to sweet fruit, the sweetest fruit, this is actually an indicator of a big problem, right? We have a sugar and diabetes a problem in the country. Bitter is better. Mr. Nuri, let me get these live reads out of the way, and then we'll get the show started. For my HHT family, just remember, we got a meeting tomorrow, Thursday, the 25th of January at St. John's College at 6 p.m. We're giving away sand dollars again every week. 6 listeners can win 30 digital Bahamian dollars if they get the correct answer and have a digital wallet. When you call in, give the producer your name and cell number and wallet provider. Include wallet provider and custom name in texts. Download a digital wallet right now, because every Tuesday and Thursday you can be a winner. And tomorrow, this Thursday, we're going to have one more trivia question. I need another winner to close out the week, so stay tuned tomorrow for your chance to win. Another message from the Sand Dollar Adoption Unit. The Sand Dollar team is headed to Acklands and Crooked Island from 24th to the 31st of January.
Good.
Sand Dollar is a digital Bahamian dollar that you can access on your phone or any mobile device. Experience a secure, convenient, and instant way to make and receive payments with Sand Dollar. To learn how the digital Bahamian dollar can benefit you in your business, schedule a one-on-one meeting by calling 302-9880 or send an email to sdau@centralbankbahamas.com. Experience the convenience, inclusivity, and security of Sand Dollar at Scavella's Food Store, Crooked Island, on January the 26th, and at CNC Food Store, Acklands, on January the 29th. Follow Sand Dollar on social media and visit www.sanddollar.bs for additional details. Mr. Nuri, I had to get that out, because not only what's evidenced is sort of a lack of understanding of what's available to us in our environment, there's also a lack of understanding with how our ancestors interacted with the very same environment that we're living in. If you can't fathom or tolerate a juju bread, then how you think your families survived on the family islands when they had access to far less than we do now, when access to global markets is far tighter, right? Harder to get to. How did they survive? How did they bring joy to their bellies and their tongues and their eyes, right? We have to believe in ourselves. We have to believe in ourselves. One more notice. Scotiabank invites you to help them bring big energy for Junior Junkanoo. Follow their Instagram page, Scotiabank Bahamas, as they visit participating schools to get our youngsters hyped and ready for the big parade on Thursday, January 25th.
That's tomorrow?
That's tomorrow. Once you log on to the page, hit the follow button and like pics from the school tour. Come out to watch the Junior Junkanoo Parade from 6 p.m. this Thursday and use the Scotiabank IG page to vote for your favorite school as they show up and show out. Feel the energy, celebrate the vibe of Junior Junkanoo. Scotiabank, official bank of Junior Junkanoo.
Thank you very much, Scotia.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good morning to all the young people preparing for Junior Junkanoo. And to all the drivers, keep your eyes open. The shape of Bay Street has changed. The bleachers have gone back up. And as you're traveling through town tonight, be very careful.
Police stopping you?
Oh, I was going to say they were putting up barricades last night, so I don't know if they'll be finished by tonight. You know what I'm saying?
I thought you mean by the police blockade. They're all over the place.
That's what they said they was going to do.
Yeah, all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one level of presence. I think they can also engage in a different level of presence at the same time, simultaneously. Yeah. Like the director of communication said, the government could, they could eat, walk, and chew gum at the same time? I mean,
but they caused me to leave late. Because I see them, so I had to park the car on the side of the road and just wait them out.
Why you had to park the car?
That's the word about that part. I just had to park the car and just sit there and just watch. And say, when are these people leaving?
But I mean, I'm glad that their presence reminded you that perhaps you could not drive your car on the road.
No, I'm driving it. I mean, I see what you mean. Sorry. Yes, I should not be driving my car on the road. Yeah. No,
Absolutely. While some people may be upset that their way may have been hindered by the police.
It wasn't that bad. I where I was going and where they station every night, I just had to park the car on the side and just walk across and then wait. And then come back for the car later on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's straight.
I mean, and I agree with you.
I got some exercise in.
Hold on, I agree with you. Come back for the car later on when the car is properly prepared to be on the road.
No, when they're gone.
No, I mean, I would wait until I have all the documentation necessary to drive it.
That's because you live closer to where I need to go. I drive from out east.
Why you didn't call me?
That's okay. I drive the car straight. That's audio every night. I see them at 10 o'clock every night. And I say, I see you. I go park at radio because you're on the other side of the road. I'm smarter than you are. Yeah.
I mean, you were smarter than them.
I were? No, I still smart.
Until
Well, they got to spot me first.
you shared the lesson, and now they've learned,
They had to come on the next side of the road?
and they can be smarter.
Yeah, I can see them from far.
Listen, here's the story I want to start today with. Government, police, and insurers formulating plan to address uninsured vehicles. This is this is yesterday's Guardian. In the light of estimates that as many as 50% of vehicles involved in traffic accidents are uninsured, Minister of Energy and Transport, JoBeth Colby Davis, said the government has established a working committee to explore how best to keep tabs on delinquent motorists. So, Mr. Nuri, I wanted to throw this question out to you and to the listening audience.
Go ahead.
What do you think is driving crime more? Is it, and this is a rough estimate, the 1 to 2% of people who are engaged in gang activity? Or is it the close to 50% of people who are ignoring or refusing to follow basic traffic controls?
Crime is down. I saw the statistics that the Commissioner of Police gave. Murder is down, rape is down, burglary is down, crime is down. Recently, we had a spike, and it just seems to be a spike. I'm sure by the end of the year, it would level out, right? People are concerned because at this early juncture, it just seems to be overwhelming. But we have the best police detection, crime detection rate in this hemisphere. We can capture all of these people. I just say wait them out. Just wait them out.
The 1 to 2% involved in gang activity, or the roughly 50% of people who are ignoring traffic controls? Who are we waiting out?
I, C.A. Nuri, do not believe that we have any gangs in the Bahamas. Absolutely none. I think that is a bygone era. I believe whatever data that we had before is old data. Old data, right? I think we have some criminal elements out there, some hardcore criminals who knows the system, who are friends with various KCs, who are friends of various MPs, who are friends with various police officers, and then they're able to use that at their advantage. And this is what have us in fear, because it just seems as if they are able to bounce in between and circumvent all these things. But as a gang issue, I, C.A. Nuri, do not believe we have a gang issue in the Bahamas that I need to be concerned about. So when you said the 2% of gang activity,
a rough estimate.
It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't engage me, influence me, have me in any fear. What I have in fear of this ungodly connection, it seems that some criminal elements have with our leaders in this country. Can I say on there? I just did it.
I mean, perhaps you paraphrased what Mr. Monroe, the Minister of National Security...
You say you don't believe in that they have a gang problem either?
No, he says, I'm going to read from the article, Government Grappling with How to Prove Someone is in a Gang.
That's easy since there's no gangs. There isn't any. All that's just facade. Whoever's saying it is making excuses for not being able to police the criminal element that we have existing at this present time.
And I'm really looking for this quote, Mr. Newry.
And I dare anyone to say which gangs we have inside the Bahamas, then say where they're based or the majority of those people hang out
Okay,
at.
so watch this. That point right there, where are they based? Now, the Attorney General believes there are gangs in the country.
Where are they based?
The Minister of National Security, I think it appears they believe
Where are they at?
there are gangs in the country.
Or they're in cyberspace, They cyberspace gangs. They believe they exist in the cyber world, but not physically.
So are you saying that for a body to be identified or to be labeled a gang, they need to have a physical space where they meet and conduct their activity?
Gang, by definition, means association. So if they have an association, that means that they have a meeting space where they, like what you say by definition. And if they do not have a meeting space where I say, hey, those fellas through Camp Road, those fellas through Quaco Street, those fellas through Pine Wood tend to congregate and do criminal activities. If you can't point that out to me, then it doesn't exist.
See, we have another issue arising. Our Constitution gives us the right to freedom of association,
Yeah.
right? So, I have the right to associate with people. How now do you then say, hey, we're going to criminalize people who associate with each other?
I find that those with power who are unable to police and do their job properly tend to create any kind of narrative in order to make an excuse. So if they want to say that the people who meet at church are a gang because they meet as a group and cannot prove their criminality, that they are plotting and doing things. Because one of the issues here is that the gang law we have is trying to become a standalone law, separate apart of crime, of doing things, colluding to do a specific crime. They're saying that you come together and have a label of name, but we don't have any crime that you have done as yet. But because you, one of two of you may be criminals in that bunch, we will charge you as being a gang, and that is a crime by itself. Clearly, something is wrong with that.
Say that again, that last part.
What part?
The very last part.
That I'm coming together, but they can't prove that I'm doing anything wrong.
Right. But that some members of
One or two.
the group may be doing something.
Yeah.
So if that's the rationale, right, for identifying a gang, a group of people that hang out or associate with each other, and one or two of the members, some of the members may be engaged in criminal activity, that now this body can be labeled as a gang. What other bodies, what other organizations or associations of people may get caught in that definition?
They can pick and choose, cherry pick, and like how they pick and choose who to prosecute, right? So imagine a lodge, and they have two people who have a criminal element in it, right? But they are actively in.
So you're saying two criminals going on vacation by the lake?
Yes.
In a lodge?
In a lodge.
Okay.
Not that lodge.
Oh, different
Yeah,
lodge. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no.
You cannot castigate the entire lodge because two of your members are criminal. And I want to know, what if you are married to a man who, unbeknownst to you, do criminal activities or part of a quote unquote gang? Right. Are you de facto part of the gang because you married to them?
Right.
Because you're associated with him.
Right. What if you are unaware of his activity, his criminal activity?
Or what if they don't do criminal activity around you, but you hang out with them?
Right. But going back specific to the husband-wife scenario, right? What if you don't know that your spouse is engaged in criminal activity and they live with you? Can you be accused or charged with harboring a criminal? Or does harboring a criminal only apply when you are aware of the activity or that the person is wanted?
Especially if they can't prove it. But what if you are aware that the person is a criminal? Mm-hmm. you to tell the person, oh, I just found that you are aware. I mean, that you are a criminal and not wanted by police, and I tell you to leave. And then later on, the police said, well, I was looking for him, but you had him here. But I said, but he ain't here no more because I tell him to leave. And then they try to charge you for harboring. But I said, but you didn't take him out of my house. I tell him to leave. You just hear that he was here. You know, surely something is wrong with that if they didn't take him out of my house, even though they was looking for him. And
Right.
I didn't tell you. I tell him to leave.
And does the legislation mandate that you must, if you don't alert the police of their presence when they're there, that constitutes harboring a criminal?
And I know there's a law that says that you must report a crime. Mm-hmm. But can I choose to say, hey, I don't want to deal with it, and they lock me up? At least I know certain crimes are like that, especially like
But in terms of child
children
protection,
and stuff like
right,
that, yeah.
you have an obligation to report
Yes.
what you see. You can't say, "Oh, I'm not involved."
Yeah.
Let's go to the phone line. Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning, guys. How y'all doing, Poppy?
Good, thank you. How are you doing?
Rachel holding on, thanking God to be alive for everything else too.
Yes,
Good
sir.
and the bad. You, the example, Nuri, you was given a while ago. Sound like you was connecting it with association or something. I saying that could go so many. All right, I know if I off the wall with this one. Remember the other day when they had a big major ammunition and guns bust, and they said a person working in the office of the Prime Minister.
I remember seeing
You
that
can't.
someplace.
You won't be able to suggest because he a part of that group and down there. Everyone or anyhow.
Right. I mean, I think that's unreasonable, right? That's unreasonable to say that everybody in the OPM, because he associates with them.
And I remember in the paper, so a couple, must see last week or a week before last, I ain't sure if it was on Dwight Strong show, Carlos Reed was there. News saying that they ain't getting no gangs, and I think Carlos Reed was pointing out where the gangs is.
See, Papa, I
He's
grew up
calling different areas and stuff.
See, something different. I grew up in a different era. When Carlos Reed was involved in associations, I wasn't born yet. Right? That's syndicate era. I come up in a later era, about 10 years later. That's a different era. His experience of what about identifying activities, that done and gone, man. That's a different
Boy,
era.
you're saying that's passe.
That's passe.
Hey, passe?
That's what I'm trying to say.
I say. You say it's passe. No Carlos Reed would disagree with you.
I understand that, but he don't know nothing but border and rebellions. He know but syndicate.
And I think
No, man, he know but all of them. I believe.
He was already out of that. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
When he was finished with the syndicates, that was 88. But the rebellion come in 90s. That's my point.
So you don't think we...
No, he don't have the experience. He don't have the experience. We need to get younger persons who involved in that. That's just say for me from a street former life type thing.
so. Papa, I think what Nuri is saying is that for the government to be able to create effective legislation to eradicate or minimize the negative impact of gangs, right? That they have to reassess how gangs operate in the modern time, and
I
that
thought that's what Carlos Reed working in national security doing right now.
Well, hold on.
And Rodney Monca.
right, that's what they're supposed to be doing. But if they cannot label a gang if they don't understand how gangs operate today.
You're right. But I thought they had it. But you're right. If they say they have it and they ain't have it, then that's another thing. But Nuri,
Go ahead.
remember the other couple of weeks, months ago, what you call it? Care of duty?
Duty of care.
Duty of care.
Yeah.
Man, you got to go further than what you're going just now, but if you could say it on the radio, some people have the opinion you don't like some of the characters. What did you say? The ungodly characters, the leadership, or who you say, the prime minister or leaders them up?
I'll never call the prime minister. You know better than that.
Okay, what did you say?
Oh, I didn't forget that. But I appreciate what you're trying to say.
Yeah, no, but guess what? For people to take them serious, right? Not just the company they keep. They say one thing or but they do something else. Did you hear the Prime Minister of Jamaica talking to the generals and the different political parties and those persons who get the contract?
Mm-hmm.
You hear what he had to say?
Yes, I heard it. He said they ain't getting the contract.
The money what they make from the contract they use to buy guns.
Yep.
To push the gangs more further.
So, you know, Papa,
You need to bring Carlos Reed. Sorry, Ms. Greene.
Go on. You go on.
I can wrap up right now. If y'all could bring Carlos Reed, because I think, Nuri, you serious or you make
serious?
Joking when you say you don't believe no gangs? Well, that's just your opinion. I gang up and listen. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks very much. I just want to identify, because you know me.
Right.
I will go and drive by and inquire. And say, where you all be?
Right. And for the purpose of the legislation, to be able to effectively legislate, to prosecute, you need to understand how these bodies operate today. To the second point, they have to be careful how they define a criminal institution, how they criminalize the institution of the gang, because a number of other types of associations or organizations of people may fall into that same category.
And I said they'll pick and choose who to prosecute.
Right. And then the Minister of National Security makes a point, I think in the article, Monroe, we'd have to be careful in drafting anti-gang law on the 17th of January, that it's difficult to prove that an association with an individual is of a criminal nature.
That's what I mentioned earlier.
Because we are so tight, so densely packed.
We all are family. Are you saying that because my cousin is a criminal, I can no longer associate with him at the dinner table if we're having a family reunion?
Right.
So he's not invited.
I mean, and what if he calls me and says, hey, listen,
a flat tire?
Or no, even more extreme than that. I have some problems. I ain't working. The wife and the child need some financial support. Can you pay this bill? Can you go to the school and put this money on the child's account? Does that now mean
you're facilitating a criminal?
Right.
See?
There are a number of things. Oh, wow.
Hey, that's a big announcement. That's why I said read that, because that's worthy of.
Let's read it after the break.
Yeah. It's all over the place now.
It's all over the place now?
It's all over the place now.
So, reading a headline from Eyewitness News, you get a little message pop up there.
Yes, just dismiss.
A headline from Eyewitness News. Breaking news. Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis has announced that, quote, bail will be revoked for those charged with serious offenses, close quotes. The Prime Minister's comments came during government's tabling of the new war on crime plan in the lower chamber Wednesday morning, this morning.
There you go.
But what does serious offenses mean?
I assume they'll define that. Murder, rape.
Right, but why don't you have the definition available to us right now?
Perhaps it's just the headline.
The headline is breaking news. Mm-hmm. What's another 12 words?
What's another 12 words?
What's another 20 words?
Yeah.
Anyway, progress is being made.
Yes.
We wish that we were more informed, involved.
We'll hear his debate contribution.
Absolutely. So we're reading from 3 articles. AG law would criminalize the institution of the gang. Government grappling with how to prove someone is in a gang. And Monroe, we'd have to be careful in drafting anti-gang law.
And we go through all that, and I was thinking, if the new proclamation, and debate could be working into law soon, if it is true that the Prime Minister announced this, right? If it is against the Constitution, it is against contravening the Constitution, do we have a duty of care to challenge it? Or should we say, man, crime bad, let's ignore it for a minute?
All right. We do have a duty of care to challenge it. Challenging it is not...
But if crime bad,
No, but challenging the law, the validity of the law, the constitutionality of the law, is not saying that we are opposed to the government's attempt to tackle crime.
Time betraying the Bahamian public, though. You know we have a crime problem.
Right.
So surely we can ignore the Constitution for a minute.
No. There is no instance within which you can ignore the Constitution.
No, making it like as if it's the Supreme Court the Supreme Law of the Bahamas.
Am I making it so, or is it so? And I think there's a big difference. It is so. It is the supreme law of the Bahamas. All of the laws passed in the House of Assembly must fall in line with the provisions of the Constitution.
But surely a Casey would know that.
Absolutely, a Casey knows that, but here's what a Casey also knows.
Yeah.
A Casey knows that a law once passed is deemed to be good law until it is shown to be bad law, until it is proven to be in contradiction or to contravene provisions of the Constitution. I'm going to give you an example. The COI love to protest.
Yes, that's what they do.
That's what they do. The leaders of the COI state regularly that they have a constitutional right to protest and that they declare that the government is breaching their rights by preventing them from protesting, right? A clearer way to express that is this. The Constitution provides us citizens a right to protest. However, the Police Act restricts that right in a number of ways. The argument should be that we state that the provisions of the Police Act in relation to protests contravene the provisions of the Constitution and should be struck down as bad law and as unconstitutional, and those provisions should be replaced with provisions that align with the Constitution. Right? Mm-hmm. That's the argument. Now, what a good Casey may come back and say is, you have in the Constitution an inalienable right to freedom of association. Mm-hmm. However, even the Constitution provides for the limitation of that right for the purpose of good governance, national security, public safety, and the public good. See, now we're having a conversation. And then we have to raise the money to take those particular provisions of that act to the court and ask the court to review and assess and to determine whether our position is correct. That they,
but that by that time we'll have a couple of people locked up, so that's a good thing. We just let them go through the thing and that's procrastinated for a while. You know, say, hey, you could be here for like 4 years before it comes.
Yeah, no. Let's go to a break.
No, we can't.
That's the only break. That's the only pause we can take is going to this break.
4 years and let them wait.
4 years of somebody's life.
They're criminals.
I mean, are they criminals?
Let's go to the break. Call, I see you when we come back. This is 1 o'clock with Erin Greene. We'll be right back on the Mashup Man Down Wednesday.
Always on the go? Missed the show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Good morning and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. We're on the clock. Guardian Radio AM is joining me. Mr. Nuri, let's go to the phone line to continue this conversation. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Ms. Greene. Ms. Greene, can I ask you a question quickly? Have you studied law?
I studied it. That don't mean I have a degree.
You wasn't called to the bar.
No, I don't even have a degree.
But you just wasn't called to the bar. You may have get the bar 20, but you haven't been called to the bar on Parliament Street.
But look here, you see that number on the side of that wall? Ain't nobody never called me from that number.
Because, Ms. Greene, let me tell you, when I listen to you, that really goes on. Because people tell me the same thing. You seem to be smarter than anybody in this country. You know everything but everything. And I believe you could go down there and run the House Assembly and the Senate and the Judiciary all by yourself. We could get rid of all them 39 people. We just need to pay you one because You got the answers for everything.
No man, Sparky. That ain't no true. I
You
tell
can
you,
tell the church how to run the church, Catholic and Anglican.
no man. Listen,
Man, you good, you know. You're the best there. Have a good day. Yeah?
Sparky. Thank you. Thank you. I am not a lawyer. I don't have a law degree. Of course, I haven't been called to the bar. I have privilege, and I've been privileged enough to grow up around people who are lawyers or work around policy making, and I've been privileged enough to be able to glean from them and use what I've gleaned from them to teach myself. Then as an advocate, I had to use a bit of what I learned in that space. And that's all it is, Sparky. But there are many of us out here who can engage subjects critically. They call the show and engage subjects critically. And for many people, they are there, they don't have a space to express it in, right? And that's what we need. We need systems to capture the value that people can bring to the development of this country. Good morning, caller.
Hello. Morning, Erin.
Morning.
Morning, TA.
Blessed. Speak up a little bit.
Yeah,
low.
morning, Bahamas.
Yes, sir.
Erin, you can't let Sparky try and be sarcastically funny getting at you, but you know everything.
Mm-hmm.
You have an appreciation for the law,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes common sense to understand the law. Some of those lawyers, that's why they got appeals court and other court, higher courts of appeal.
Mm-hmm.
He trying to be smart, trying to say you know everything. You don't know everything, and nobody know everything.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them who have the law degrees don't know all aspects of the law. I
Yep.
don't know all aspects of the law, but I've been in court and won that case and beat 4 lawyers in front of Chief Justice Sir Michael Barnett. So tell Sparky stop trying to be sarcastic, and he can put that in his pipe and smoke that. Y'all have a nice day.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yes, sir. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning, Erin. Good morning, CA.
Morning,
Morning
sir.
to you.
You know, my question is the court higher than the Parliament of the Bahamas?
No, they sit on equal standing.
setting. 3 different
Arms of government,
Arms of government.
judiciary, executive, and legislature.
Yeah.
None of them trump each other, and none of them should seek to trump each other.
Listen, so if the members of Parliament, if they go to the House of Assembly, which they are the elected members, the representative of the people, the courts, I didn't vote for them. The Constitution says that Parliament should make laws for the good governance of this country, right?
Yes.
If these members of Parliament, whom the people have elected to govern this country, they go today, and say, we want to put a fine of $500,000 for the possession of anybody who is found in possession of an illegal firearm. That is going to be the law. The law is drafted up by the Attorney General's office. It's passed in the House of Assembly. Can these so-called judges and judiciary now go and say that we are only going to give $50,000? Can they do that? Do they have the power to do that?
They can only act within the scope of the legislation.
Yeah, but you see these courts, so when we say the court has discretion, what does that mean?
So that means for instance, if a penalty for a sentence is from 7 years to life, the judge has the discretion to determine how much time will be given between 7 years and life.
Yeah, but if that crime is a heinous crime that all of us know about, that judge can make that. She can decide he or she can decide whatever they want to do.
Right. So here's what happens.
And I know that the judges or the magistrates or the Supreme Court decision is not final. There is an appellate court,
Right.
and there is also the
Privy Council.
the Privy Council. But I think what has happened in this country is that power has been given to the beast, and these courts and these magistrates they feel like they have more
Now-
power than the House of Assembly, and that they should never be made
So
to think that.
let's
okay?
let's talk about the mechanisms that exist to balance these powers, right? The judge gives a sentence that you feel is inappropriate for the nature of the crime. The prosecutor can appeal.
Yes.
The prosecutor can appeal, right?
Right.
The family of the victim or the victim themselves can appeal to the court of public opinion.
Right.
We, the people, can then go to our MPs and say, we feel that the scope given to the judge is too large or too small, and that the law needs to be amended to accurately reflect the people's sentiment about this crime. The people think that a crime of this nature warrants a penalty of this nature. And we are demanding that the legislature enforce our feelings through legislation and amend the law. If you feel that magistrates' discretion is too broad, then you demand more specific legislation.
Yeah, but you see, Erin, and that is where our members of parliament, because civil society has no voice in this country.
Civil society has a voice. The
plenty
question
of
is,
voices.
are they
Talk on the
using
radio?
are they using their voices effectively? Are they using the resources and the power that they do have effectively to challenge the legislatures? Or are they focused on building relationships with the executive so that policies may be made in their favor? See?
Erin.
It's all about the balance. The mechanisms are available. Go on.
We know that, as far as I know, the only so-called established organization is ORG, right? The Organization for Responsible Government, right, which seeks to engage all of the civil society members and whatnot. And because I think we as Bahamians, we're so passive, and we feel okay, let them run their 5 years. They soon find out what lobster tail red for anyhow. So, because all we do is, we talk and they talk. All we do is talk, and even with the government and this procurement laws and everything else, you're trying to get the government to even follow its own laws and whatnot. But back to these judges and whatnot. But
Don't listen. See, okay, here's what I want to say. Don't even say it like that, back to these judges. Because the principle involved here, right, is that the judiciary and the executive are not allowed to publicly critique the judges. The judiciary and the executive are not allowed to publicly critique the legislature. And the legislature and the executive, right?
Yes.
The bodies are not allowed to critique each other in that way. And then that guides our engagement and our speech on how we talk about judges' decisions.
yeah, but I would like to know, as a right-thinking individual,
Right.
okay, what was the judge thinking that, okay, I am going to pass the sentence? I know sometimes they say justice must be tempered with mercy and so on and so forth. I agree with all of that. Okay? But let's take, for instance, the cases where these guys were caught with these high-powered weapons, right?
Where people are caught with high-powered weapons, yes.
Right. People are caught with high. You don't think that these magistrates, that they have a boss?
Right, but see,
Who should come and say, but listen,
but no, see, that's the point.
But that happens, though.
Hold on, the point is that the laws are their boss.
No, but they have the Chief Justice who guides them.
The Chief Justice is supposed to be there. The Chief Justice is not supposed to direct them
Right, but
as to...
precedent guides them.
Yeah, but I'm saying, if they come under the Chief Justice responsible for the magistrates and the judges, right? Mm-hmm. They are responsible for them.
Now,
and so
you know who we could blame? You know who we could blame with no problems? Let's blame the Bar Association for not engaging in more public discourse, because members of the public like yourself and others have real valuable contributions to make to this conversation. And that's the way that we make it. We engage the Bar Association and the legal community to create spaces and opportunities for the layman, the average citizen, to engage these discussions to better inform policy creation.
As I go, Erin, somebody suggested, why can't we go as a civil society and have a people's day where we can sit down and ask these members of parliament.
An example of that that's happened recently was the Fishing Society Association. They challenged the government responded, and we just need to do our part.
I don't, but every lay person.
Organize yourself.
You have no, we can just say, let the government, we have questions for the government.
Right, but in any instance, I appreciate what you're saying. Yeah. In any instance, you have to be organized, right, to engage the state.
No, Erin, just if you want good governance, if you say this is a new day, and so on, so we can do things different, set up a day, okay, this is the People's Day. If you got a question for any members of parliament,
this is your day.
We're going to allow you time to come and ask your question.
Just
let the people have a say in the governance of this country. You ain't got to organize. It's open to anybody as a member. Just say, okay, this one time a quarter or whatever it is, you have some questions to ask any member of parliament.
I agree with you, but you see what happened when Alston Moultrie, former Speaker of the House, attempted that. The political class hijacked the entire exercise.
But the exercise did happen.
And because you know why?
It was better that it didn't happen.
They got something to hide,
I'm just saying, sir, I would love you to have a wonderful day as you have riled up my thoughts this morning.
Okay, have a good day.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Nuri.
Yeah, we're out of time.
It's 11 o'clock already?
11:04.
Well, listen, producer, let's go to that break immediately. On the other side of the break, we're going to finish off all of these texts.
Yeah.
Texters, we haven't forgotten you. We're going to bring these into the conversation. In the second half of our Wednesday Man Down mashup session, we're on the clock in Guardian Radio AM combined to analyze what's in the news. You guys, thanks for tuning in, but stay tuned because the next hour's right on us.